Finally, Spurs fans, finally, our San Antonio Spurs are back in the NBA Finals. Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stay. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you had a great weekend. And what a crazy Game 7 as our Spurs finish off OKC. We also set a ton of channel records that night, so thank you very much. But one last thing we need to do before we wrap up the Western Conference Finals is a report card. So I'm going to grade our players based on performance, eyeball test, expectations for this series, not the season, but for this series. Do remember, I see these games differently than you. I'm calling the game. I got a scoreboard, a chat. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So obviously, I can't see everything that's going on in the game. Let's get into it. And he actually doesn't have a card. First up, Harrison Barnes. I'm giving him an incomplete. He had 3 games that he played under 4 minutes. Really wasn't much of a factor. Well, you could call him a good luck factor because it was his birthday in game number 7, and I believe players whose birthdays are on game 7 are undefeated. And also, I think I saw 10 years ago, he helped the Warriors beat the Thunder in a game 7. So Harrison Barnes, definitely good luck charm, and I'm sure he was a good presence on the bench for our guys. Let's get into the real report card now. Carter Bryant didn't play a lot, and those stats are not going to blow you away. He's probably most going to be remembered in this series for Mitch Johnson yelling at him, looking like, let's be honest, that he was maybe about to cry and Wemby consoled him, but he also had a few huge dunks, running into SJ and knocking him on his butt. He was also playing some great defense throughout the series here and there, and sure, he had rookie mistakes, but I'm going to give Carter Bryant a B. And if you want to go higher than B, I'm not going to argue with you. Stephon Castle, 18 points, 5 boards, 7.5 assists. I love the 85% free throw percentage. I wish his 3-pointers were hitting like they were in the regular season, especially after the All-Star break, but they were not. But overall, Stephon Castle, the elephant in the room with Steph is the turnovers. He averaged over 4.5 plus 4 fouls a game. In those first 2 games, he had 20 turnovers, which is an NBA record, but De'Aaron Fox not being on the court was a big contributor to that. That being said, Stephon Castle's defense in this series was incredible. He is an absolutely big reason the Spurs are going to the NBA Finals, and they do not win this series without his defense, his competitiveness, his toughness in the paint. I'm giving Steph an A-. Pop the Champagnie. Julian Champagnie, 12.6 boards, 41, 33, 70. He was streaky in the series, but overall I thought he played pretty solid defense, especially when he's being asked to play at a position at power forward. I know he's been doing that since he took over for Harrison Barnes, but he's not a traditional power forward, and he had some big shots for us, and of course he was big in game 7 when it mattered the most. And I am giving bonus points if you did well and contributed to that game 7 win in some way. Obviously, they all did, but I might give you bonus points if you did something big. So, Julian Champagnie, you also get an A-. De'Aaron Fox. Okay. Those stats are not going to jump out at you. If you're looking at that, and I see people commenting, he's not playing like a max contract guy, he's only averaging 11 points, da-da-da-da. I get where you're coming from, but let's remember first, he was hurt. He missed the first 2 games of this series, and he didn't look really 100% throughout the whole series. However, he was very solid on defense, averaging a 1.5 steals, so he was swiping this series, limiting his turnovers to only 1.4, and he was a difference maker on the court. Stephon Castle played much better with De'Aaron Fox back, and I also think despite what you may look at here statistically, he was a big reason the Spurs closed out this series, especially in Game 6 and 7. De'Aaron Fox, I'm also giving him an A-. I know usually that doesn't usually make sense with the old traditional TSR, but watching these games and watching how much better, or how just the team functioned better with him on the court at times, and defensively too, he stepped up big in the series. I'm giving him an A-. Dylan, you son of a Harper. Also hurt and clearly affected his play until game 7. I think game 6 he looked pretty good too. Record-setting 7 steals in this series in game number 1. You look at 12.6 boards, 3 assists, and pretty solid splits of 46, 35, 83. Actually, really good splits if you consider the team was playing with, who was a fantastic defensive team. Showed some, good team IQ with grabbing Stephon Castle after he was fouled by what I think should have been a flagrant by Alex Caruso when he's hit on the arm and then literally pulled down when he's in the air. OKC like hitting our guys in the air apparently, or grabbing Steph's hair, again going on a tangent. But Steph was obviously not happy with the way he'd been fouled, especially when he's airborne, which is dangerous. And Steph looked like he was ready to get up and have some words, and Dylan Harper just held him back and said, whatever he said, probably it ain't worth it. we need you for this game. Don't do anything stupid, etc. So showed the IQ, showed how tough he is, especially in Game 7. He was grabbing rebounds amongst the towers, the guys that are bigger than him, and just fighting for rebounds. Loved what he was doing in the paint. I got to give Dylan Harper an A. He has exceeded my expectations way more than I ever thought. I knew he was going to be good being the second overall pick, but being a 20-year-old and previously 19-year-old rookie, the stuff he's done this year, 5 years from now, will Dylan Harper be the best player out of that draft class? We'll see. I'm giving him an A. That's my Johnson, Keldon Johnson. You see it there. He struggled. He has struggled a lot through these playoffs, from Portland to Minnesota to OKC. Has not really played like the sixth man of the year at all. He's had peaks here and there, and he's also had a lot of moments where he's disappeared. He's also had some, let's be honest, a lot of bad luck where he got to the rim, he took the shot, and it just would rim out or bounce off the rim numerous times. But am I going to remember a lot of those misses or the struggles? No. I'm going to remember in quarter 4 of Game 7 in an elimination game, he played like the sixth man of the year, hitting 2 threes and got a layup and had 8 points, and was a big reason that the Spurs won that game. I told you I'd give bonus points if you did something big in game that was memorable in Game 7, and he did. I'm also giving Keldon Johnson a B. And I might be being a little generous with the grades here because of beating the Thunder, but hey, they're my grades. Luke Kornet also struggled and was a minus whenever he was on the court in Game 1 to Game 5. Just, it was one of those things as Spurs fans that was tough. It's like, Wemby needs a break, but man, Luke, come on. But in Game 6, the Spurs went on a 7-0 run. Luke came in, and they made it a 20-0 run. And then in Game 7, I got to think, the biggest block of Luke Kornet's career. And that may have just sealed the game for us because momentum was swinging back towards OKC. And also credit to Luke. Gave everything he had on that. I can't remember, it was Isaiah Hartenstein, right? It wasn't Holmgren, it was Isaiah Hartenstein, but ran faster than I think I've ever seen him run on a basketball court, and just wanted that more than the Thunder. Put everything he had into that block, and that's what I remember from Luke Kornet in the Western Conference Finals, is that huge block in game number 7. I'm also giving Luke a B. Devin Vassell, or Vassell as the announcers keep calling him, that is driving me crazy. Also streaky like Julian Champagnie, but man, his defense. Watching the Spurs for many, many years, like many of you, and watching Denver from when he was drafted, when he was expected to be a 3D prospect, but that defense never quite translated up until now in the playoffs. Devin Vassell, some guys they have one gear in the regular season, and Devin has found that second gear defensively. I don't know why I can't get it going in the regular season. Hey, it is what it is. I'm glad it's here in the playoffs, but I have been extremely impressed with his defense in the playoffs. He averaged 1 block a game for the Spurs, plus almost 2 steals. He had a huge block on Chet Holmgren in this series. He might have actually blocked him twice. I don't remember. But man, great defense by Devin. He put the D in Devin. And then the disrespectful dunk of justice to end the series. Some folks may say that's unnecessary. I think that was just an angry... the emotions must have been running so high. He dunked that thing really hard. I loved it, and I'm going to give Devin an A-. MVP Victor Wembanyama, 38 minutes, 27 points, 11 boards, just under 3 blocks, 48, 40, 90, the Western Conference Finals MVP. The only things keeping Victor Wembanyama from getting an A+ is, gotta be counted, Game 5. He kind of disappeared, just could not get it going. And his rebounds, oddly enough, were a roller coaster. You're going to look there and see he averaged 11 rebounds a game. But from game 1 to 7, he had 24, where he had a 40-20 game, which I think he was the youngest player ever to do that. There were a lot of records in this series. 24 rebounds, 17, 4, 8, 6, 10, 7. His rebounds were just like that. Wemby, you're 7'5". There should not have been any games, maybe one game where he had under 10 rebounds. That being said, he was fantastic, and he literally stole Chet Holmgren's soul when he posted him in the first quarter of game number 7. Seriously, Chet looked afraid to do anything after that. And I'm sure a lot of Thunder fans have some concerns now. We see a lot of athletes that have that pivotal moment in their career. Ben Simmons with tour de force on defense, Trae Young coming up to him and he passes up on an easy layup or maybe even a dunk and hasn't been the same since that game in the playoffs. Baseball players, I want to say maybe Mitch Williams for the Phillies. I'm dating myself. This is over 30 years ago. Gave up, I believe, like a game-winning World Series home run. Was never the same. Professional athletes have that moment in their career where something goes wrong. And for some of them, they never recover. I'm not wishing that on Chet Holmgren, but he looked like a broken player after that poster dunk in Game 7. Will he bounce back next year? Or is that going to stay in his head? I got to deal with this guy for the next decade? Because he don't want any of Wemby. It's now obvious. He maybe did earlier in the year, but whatever happened, I don't know if Wemby said something to him, or if he got a little hurt from that, or just maybe butt hurt. Whatever it was, Chet Holmgren was not the same after that. Will he be the same moving forward? That being said, let me get Wemby's grade out to you. I'm giving Wemby an A. That's the players. Let's get to the coach, Mitch Johnson. For a rookie coach, his rotations, I think, were mostly spot on. I did not like it when he took the players out. Wemby and Fox were on a 15-0 run. I want to say that was in game number 5. Correct me if I'm wrong, Spurs fans. I thought that was a huge mistake. We're 5 minutes in the game. We are absolutely cooking the Thunder. And he brings his guys. He brings out the guys that are cooking for it. I think that was a mistake. Hopefully a mistake he has learned from where, hey, I don't have to go at my set rotations. Pop was notorious for doing that, at least during this channel's history, where somebody would be on fire and he pulled onto the game because, well, it's at the 6.5 minute mark or 6 minute mark. It's time for Patty Mills to come in or whoever to come in. That's my blip on the radar for him. I thought that was a bad coaching mistake. Otherwise, I thought his rotations were pretty darn good. The timeouts were pretty spot on. He used his challenges well. Mitch, you exceeded my expectations, not only for this series, but for the year. But this grade for the series is an A. I give Mitch an A. And then the team. Let's talk about the team grade, because I got to give a team grade. Facing double elimination. Down for the first time in any of these playoffs. Everybody's writing them off. Spurs, at best, make it 7 games and they're done. OKC will not lose. Not only experts, OKC's taking this in Oklahoma. They avoid the elimination game in Game 6. Not only avoid it, they absolutely annihilate the Thunder at home. And analysis downplayed that too. Your Stephen A. Smiths, your Skip Bayless, all those knuckleheads. Oh, they blew them out in Game 6. That's probably not good because the Thunder, they'll just get them at home. No. In an elimination game again in Game 7, the Spurs proved they were the best team in the Western Conference and took the Thunder out. I am giving our team an A+. Now, if you want to argue A++ or A+++ or A+++ infinity, whatever, I won't argue with you. I am so proud of our guys. I got to give a couple shout-outs. First, to Bismack Biyombo. We saw him coaching Wemby on the sidelines a lot. He's a, 15-year veteran. That's why he's still on the team, and I do think he was very helpful coaching Wemby throughout the series. Mason Plumlee throwing a hard foul, I think it was at the end of Game 5, and letting the Thunder know enough's enough. Stop grabbing a guy, stop pulling hair, and laid out Jared McCain. I don't love dirty hits like that, but I think that may have changed the tone too, moving forward a little bit. Who knows? And just, shout out to the whole bench unit, and a shout out to you guys. Supporting this unit, just the way you guys supported the streams, whether it was hitting the like button, sharing it, commenting, dropping a zillion emojis, shouting out where you're from, and of course, those of you that super chatted, thank you very much. It was an amazing streaming with you guys during the Western Conference Finals, but we're not done yet because the NBA Finals are next. My playoff motto so far has been, we can do this. And Spurs fans, we can do this. They can absolutely beat the New York Knicks. I know they struggled in the regular season and lost in the NBA Cup, but there's no doubt in my Spurs heart or mind that we can beat them. And if we do, will that be the start of the NBA's next dynasty? That has been an amazing, fun ride, Spurs fans. I appreciate you. Drop a comment down below with your grades for each player, your grade for the team, your grade for Coach Johnson, and a prediction from you. Do you think the Spurs beat the Knicks, and how many? I'm going to say Spurs. I'll say Spurs in 7. I think this is going to be an absolute dogfight to the end. It's going to take everything from both teams. It's going to be a slugfest, and I say Spurs in 7. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys, and as always, go Spurs go!